master self-discipline. Self-discipline is really important, okay, in running a business. And these are what you call the 7 keys of self-discipline. Number 1, they found that each and every one of those people were very clear on their purpose or their goals. Secondly, models of possibility, which I really like because sometimes we overlook that, is that if you want to achieve a certain thing, then find other people who've already done what you want to do. That's why I say go talk to some successful business people. And you have 2 types of models. You have indirect role models and you have direct role models. How many people hold Nelson Mandela very high? Okay, you have high esteem for Nelson Mandela and a lot of the principles that he stands for, and he's a role model for you. Put your hands up. Okay, a lot of people. Now, out of all those people that put your hand up, how many of us have met Nelson Mandela personally? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, 10, 11, out of about 35, 40 people that have put their hands up, or more than that. Okay, now, those that haven't met him, very clearly Nelson Mandela would be an indirect role model for you, which you read about him, you watch films on him, you watch movies and all those kind of things, and indirectly he can affect you. Now, there could be some people that have Nelson Mandela as a direct role model because they were alongside of him and he actually mentored them. That's a direct role model. Now, what happens? You define your purpose, you have models of possibility, and the combination of those 2 things will eventually bring in sensory vision. And sensory vision is that you don't say, I think it's possible to do it. One day you wake up and you go, I know I can do this. Okay? I know I can do this. Okay? And so that knowingness kicks in. So you say, I know that I can do it, which immediately kicks in your emotion at that point. When you know you can do it, there's a desire that kicks in. There's literally an obsession, a passion, and an energy that you need to drive it to the next step. Okay? And these will circulate back into 1, 2, and 3, make your goal clearer, and give you more strength to even to 2 and 3. And then after you've done that, that's the motivation, you still have to put the plan together, which we've been talking about. Okay? So if you think it, then you ink it. Okay? I know what I have to do to achieve it. But you've got to put it down as a plan, otherwise it's just out there as motivation. Okay? And when you put that plan together, what you'll discover is there things that you need to learn or some help you need. There always will be. So you then say, I can learn the necessary skills and knowledge I need to achieve it, and then persistence, no matter how long it takes or how hard it is, I will take and make it happen. And if you put those keys to work, along with that goal setting, that'll take you where you want to go if you're prepared to put the work in. Okay? And that's the 7 keys to self-discipline. And I think Gary Player sums it up really well. To be successful, you also have to have a passion and work your butt off. And to grow your business, okay, there's 5 keys to take and grow your business. And these are the 5. If you can, and if you do, increase the number of right people that you contact, or the right number of people to come to your business. So if you've got 1,000 people coming to your business, and you can now get 1,100 people come to your business, who would agree that will grow your business? Absolutely. Okay, that's one of the principles. Okay, if you can increase your closing ratio, your conversion ratio, and that means of the people that come into my business, out of 100, I am closing 60 of them. And I increase that to 70, will that grow your business? Okay, that's the second principle. These are the vital best practices, okay? Number 3, if you can increase the average basket sale, which means the average person, when they come in, they spend 200 Rand. And I can get them to go to 220 Rand, will that grow my business? Absolutely. And if I can increase how often they buy. So if they buy once a month, and I can get them to buy twice a month, I'm going to grow my business. And the final thing, if I can increase my margins, which, by the way, often comes by increasing the value, okay, of what you offer. So if you can increase your margins, then that's going to grow your business. Now, if you take these 5 areas, and just let me say this, a couple of things in these areas. Increase the number of right people you contact or come to your business. Here's one of the key things in marketing and sales and advertising. It's better to reach 500 of the right people 10 times with the right message than 5,000 people once. Does that make sense? Don't think the way you get successful is hitting as many people as you can. Take a smaller number of the right people and hit them several times. Does that make sense? On sales calls, on advertising, or whatever it may be. With frequency. Okay? That can take an increased number of right people you contact or come to your business. Listen, simple. Anybody got a retail store, a retail type business? Okay? One of the key things with your retail business is to put a big sign outside that says open. How many stores do you go by and there's no sign that says open? And if the weather's half decent, make sure the door's open as well. Okay? So people can walk in. But there's little things that can take and make a difference. Increase your closing ratio, your conversion ratio. Do you know a lot of cases it's just asking for the business? You just say to the person, what is it that I have to do to get your business? I'd love to have your business. Okay? You just ask for it. And there's lots of ways to close the business. The average basket sale, I can take a Spar store and overnight increase their sales, their average basket sale size. You know how I can do it? Simple stuff. What's that basket we push around that has wheels? Trolley. That's right. And there's wasted space on the trolley. We throw our groceries in here, but what if the Spar store took a little flip thing and flipped it up so that when you're pushing the trolley you can read it and it says shopping list. We didn't want you to forget anything. How many people in here right now in your home, you need light bulbs and you've needed them for a while and you've been meaning to buy them but you keep forgetting to buy them? How many people need some light bulbs right now? Come on, put your hands. See that? So at the top it says light bulbs, razor blades, milk, butter, soft drinks. So as I'm pushing my cart around, what am I doing? Oh, soft drinks. Light bulbs. Average basket sale goes up. Little techniques like that can take and increase it. Now let me ask you a question. If you took a business and you didn't go in for big increases, you said, I'm just going to increase the number of right people we contact or the right people come to the business by 10%. And I'm going to increase my closing conversion ratio by 10%. I'm going to increase the average basket sale, by 10%. Increase how often they buy by 10% and increase the margins by 10%. What do you think that could do to your bottom line, your profits? What do you think that your profits might look like? Give me a figure. 50%? 50% higher. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Let me show you. This was the Jack's Paint store that we did some work with. And we demonstrated it. They had about 16,400 or so customers that were coming into the store on an annual basis. Okay? And the closing ratio, the conversion ratio was 80%, which means the number of customers they had was 13,125. Okay? The average basket value, which means the average person buying, would buy 160 rands worth. Frequency of purchase was twice a year. Okay, the turnover then was 4.2 million. The gross margin was 30%, which means the gross profit for that business was 1,260,000. The fixed and variable expenses was 22%, which is the rent and the wages and all of those things, which came to 924,000. So they had a net profit of 336,000 rand. Now, we said let's increase each of these 5 key areas that I've talked to you about by just 10%. Just 10%. Then 10% increase on the quantity of leads of people coming through has gone now from 16,406 to 18,046.88. Conversion ratio is 80%. We've taken that and increased that by 10%. Okay, which means 88% are now buying. That means the customers have gone from 13,125 to 15,881. The average basket value is 160. Increase that by 10%, it means 176. Okay, which we put in. One thing we put in with them was what we call clipboard selling, which was like this, very similar to the thing for the Spar stores. Okay, the frequency of purchase is 2, so it's gone now to 2.2. That means the turnover has now gone from 4.2 million to 6,149,220. The gross margin was 30%. We increased it by 10% to 33%. The gross profit's gone from 1,260,000 to 2,029,242. And the fixed and variable expenses is 22%, but just because the volume goes up, the expenses don't, because you're beyond what we call break even. And so that on the gross, the figure was actually 18.31%, which means that the fixed and variable expenses of R1,000,000. The net profit of that business has gone from $336,000 to $1,029,242.60, which is 206.32% increase in the bottom line. Amazing, isn't it? Okay? 10% increase in the 5 key areas can grow your business. Big time. So you don't have to go out and take that first one and say, let's increase that by 150%. You can go